Hello?
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 Hello? Is stuff coming out your headphones?
No.
Oh, do you want to press one of those buttons over there?
Oh, that's better.
Is that better? Excellent. Shall we start again?
Hello, welcome to ReCooper8. It's the spring fling. It's a spring fling.
It is a spring fling.
Yes, because we're in spring now. I'm Katie Abbott, and that's...
Lucy Cooper.
And we have Jen, awesome friend of the show, who's back with us to do another sensational music experience.
Yes, because it's been a while, Jen. It's been a while. Come on.
COVID got in the way.
Yeah.
And as you would have seen for this evening's show, we're also talking to... Who are we talking to, Lucy?
We are talking... Sorry, Katie, I'm completely on board with this whole idea of doing a radio show. You'll be pleased to hear. So I haven't got my headphones on, and so it's funny. You sound very quiet because I can't hear you through. Oh my God!
Michael would not have liked that. No. Just throw a pair of headphones across the room.
So we have Jane Ross.
Yes.
After Jane has educated us about music, and I'm really looking forward to the music selections that Jane's brought in.
Yeah. We've got the rack, man enough.
Yeah, we do.
Challenging. Is it challenging, Jean? Is it a challenging lesson? No.
No, because it's more about emotions, isn't it?
We're all about the emotional music.
Yeah.
Big emotions.
Come closer to the...
Big emotions this evening.
That's it. Yeah. Just lean in. Make love to the microphone.
Lean in as Melinda Gates says.
So not...
That's
it. Lean in.
Everybody does lean in. You lean into everything these days. Vulnerability, anger,
we're going to
happiness.
Experience it all with Jen.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, yeah, we're going to have all those things.
I was a little bit scared.
All the emotions. So anyway, got Jane Ross after Jen. And
Film Festival.
Mm-hmm. So Jane has also rapidly become a friend of the show because she has this incredible staggered festival over the course of a year, pretty much, eh?
Yeah.
And mercifully untouched by COVID.
Yes.
Which has been lovely and a pleasant change from everything else that's happened. Because I think we had Jenny Hall from Carterton Event Centre last month telling us all marvellous
things that were coming.
And then none of them have been able to happen. But I know that she will have been scheduling stuff.
Yes.
And then to crown the show... Is that the word? No, that's
that makes me think of childbirth. No,
not crown. To top the show, to finish the show, we've got Jared.
To put the cake topper on.
The cake topper on our gâteau of a show.
Yeah, we've got Jared Goulian,
author, and kind of farmer type.
Yes.
Yeah.
He lives in Martinborough on an idyllic paradise making olive oil.
From
America
originally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know where.
Chicago, I believe.
Oh, that sounds cool, doesn't it?
Yes.
You're Idaho, aren't you?
Yep.
Potatoes.
Exactly.
Potatoes.
Chicago.
So we've got an action-packed show. So shall we begin?
Well, why not? Yeah. So
shall we? Or do you want to have a chit-chat about...
No, God, no. I just wanted to reach out to people and say, are we on Facebook Live? Yeah, that was one of my questions.
Okay.
And I know your husband is practically our technical manager, isn't he? And, at some point...
He might be child rearing at the moment.
Yeah, okay. I've got a hair.
Oh, spit it out, love.
It's really big. Yeah. You know when you think it might have gone down a bit? And, the bit that you can feel is...
No, that's why I cut my hair super short.
I've got to say, because I used to have short hair like Jen's, and now it gets in my eyes, gets up my nose, gets stuck in my ears.
Yeah, that was my line.
Yeah.
Was hair. I had shoulder-length hair, and one day I harked a bunch right up my nose, and I thought, that's wrong. That shouldn't happen. So I cut it all off myself.
Now, you've been doing home haircuts, haven't you? I mean,
I didn't necessarily want that to be public knowledge, but thank you, Lucy.
Yes, awesome.
I cut my fringe myself.
I think you've done a great job.
And I did it. I put a piece of sellotape across.
Really?
Yeah, that's how everyone does it at home, don't they?
No, I didn't know you did do that.
Wow.
So where would you put the sellotape? Above where you want to go or below?
No, you sellotape it down, and then you go cut across, and then you rip the sellotape off.
Because if it was really long, you could possibly have the top edge of the sellotape being the bit that you just cut above. And
Yes.
then you would take the hair
No.
and the sellotape.
Oh, right. Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
that's
usually
too
think like that.
technical for me.
Okay.
Living on the edge.
Yeah.
Jen, you do music appreciation for us, but
Yeah.
we want to let you know that we appreciate you.
Oh.
Okay, all right. I just want to get
Thank
that out
you.
of the way.
Say that.
Really?
Okay. I was listening to a
Oh,
TED,
okay.
TED
Or
talk.
appreciate.
No, a TED talk I was listening to. I forget who. Something about changing the way you look at adversity. But she kept saying, "Ba ba ba ba." It was all very good, and then okay.
Well,
Ba ba
that's-
ba ba ba. Okay.
Slightly
all right,
patronising?
All right. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Can get a bit grating, can't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
FYI, Lucy.
For those of you who are watching, that was just you didn't clip a boob, did you, on the desk?
I took out microphone B.
That's amazing.
On the way down.
Were you fiddling with your chair?
Yes, I was.
No. Otherwise, that was an epic kind of office furniture fail.
All right.
That was brilliant. That was so good. You couldn't do that again if you tried. Well, I expect if you kept fiddling. Jen. Now,
Yes.
your music has been inspired by the difficult times we've had, isn't it? And about feeling.
Yeah, kind of.
Feelings.
I thought, without getting too mushy and gross about it all.
Yep.
Like, we've just, a lot of the country is still in lockdown.
Yes.
Or Auckland. The
Yes.
Auckland region still is, and the rest of us have got to come out of it somewhat. So we've kind of been through a little bit of an emotional roller coaster again.
Yeah.
And rather than, I don't know, I didn't want to like wallow in it and play really depressing dirges and things like that. But music can really help me anyway. I don't know.
Lift yourself out of a particular mood.
Yeah, get out of it or recognize it.
Recognize it, yes.
That's what I'm feeling. And it came up because I think I shared some picture that I'd drawn a year ago or so, and I shared it again on Facebook, and it had a picture of a person kind of looking off into the distance and being a bit, I don't know, pensive maybe, or looking quite contemplative, and a friend it really resonated with her. She was like, that is exactly how I'm feeling, and she listed, I'm feeling like this, and I'm feeling stuck, and I'm feeling a little bit angry, a great list, and she was like, that's it. And I thought, oh, the value that art can bring to our lives is that, connecting you with your own emotions.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's fabulous, and she was really quite clear, this is me right now.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, let's do that with some music
Awesome.
as
I
well.
love-
Just a few short little pieces, and just like, I don't know, embracing some big feels. Nothing too, we're not going into it too deeply.
Yeah.
But just that sometimes music can help you work through it.
I'm happy to be worked through.
We've got a bag of chocolate on hand.
We
And
do.
we have chocolate.
Katie, can I ask a technical question?
Yes.
Did we press record?
I did.
You did? Good, that's good.
I felt like I did.
Yeah, good.
Otherwise, Toby's got some work ahead of him.
Oh, bless
Let
him.
me bring up the playlist.
Okay, awesome.
Spring Fling,
The Spring Fling, indeed.
or Spring Awakens.
And are we talking mainly classical today, Jen?
Yes, we're doing classical today
Okay,
because that's
awesome.
kind of my easy go-to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that I've been going through like big emotional ups and downs lately
Yes.
as well. So I think that was partly also the reasons why I didn't choose anything horribly challenging
Yeah.
today, and things that are like easy for me to go, oh yes, I like those. We
Yeah.
will listen to those, and not
Yeah.
not too challenging, and not too challenging to talk about for me either.
No, exactly. Yes, because you do a lovely job of talking us through difficult music. Because can I just acknowledge that? I mean, is it all right to say you've done a major life change and you quit your job
I did.
to be kind of full-time creative person?
Yeah, it was quite a big decision.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
I think it's
Yeah.
an incredible decision, don't you think?
It really is.
It was
Yeah.
a hard one. I mean, really, I really look at it like leaving a beloved job, but also I needed to do it for me. So it was a bit of a struggle because I love the people that I worked with a lot, and I really liked the work and valued the work that we did. But so it's quite interesting to get to this point in my life where I thought, well, I love that. I also love doing art,
Yeah.
and the boundary between those was kind of hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's time to just try to see what happens when I just focus on as much creative stuff as I can.
Wow.
Yeah, big step.
What was that first morning like when you didn't have to go to work? What did that feel like?
Oh, the first day or two felt a little bit ox.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
What have I done?
Yeah.
It wasn't what have I done? Oh.
no, that I had a few what have I done's like after I formally resigned.
Yes.
You know, and then you keep working for a month, and yeah. So I kind of got through those going, ooh, did I make a big mistake? And but mostly I thought, no, this is still a good thing for me. So
Awesome.
yeah. So yeah, big change.
Mm.
Big year for me. Yeah.
I'm rudely eating chocolate while you tell us your story.
We always eat here.
That's right.
I know, that's
What
why
would
I come.
What would you like to listen to first, Jen?
Right, so the first thing I thought,
preludes.
yeah, let's do the preludes because they're just sort of nice. So we'll listen to some Chopin, Frederick Chopin.
I like him.
I like him too. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad. That's a win for me. Yeah, chopping. We're going to be chopping some broccoli. Yeah, sorry.
Who's got the chopping list?
Stop it now.
I know. So he's easy to remember because you can mock his name so easily, right? So Chopin, he mainly wrote for solo piano, and because I'm a pianist or an ex-pianist, you know, I'm like, of course, I love Chopin. And
When was he kicking around?
1800s, early 1800s, 1810, I think he was born, and he didn't last very long.
No.
Didn't he?
No,
He was very weak,
yeah.
Oh.
sickly.
He was
like Keats.
kind of tuberculosy.
Yes.
And
There's a lot
yeah,
of
consumptive.
I think he maybe hit 40
Oh,
or something. Yeah, so it didn't last long, but whoa, did he write some amazing stuff
yeah.
in, you know, his last 20 years or something.
There's a wonderful film about his life with Hugh Grant.
Really?
Oh.
Impromptu.
Oh, I'm going to write that down
me
if I
too.
had a pen.
There's a pen there,
Yeah.
next to the
Excellent.
chocolate. Would you like E minor or A minor or which one?
I wanted
Please.
to do, I think, wait, sorry, I'll have a look.
E minor,
No,
E minor sounds like it would be sad.
C minor.
I wanted to do G minor first, I think.
G minor.
G minor.
G minor, please.
She's a lovely
So
girl,
this is
G
a prelude.
minor.
This is a Chopin prelude, Opus 28. He did a whole bunch of preludes.
I've put
Okay.
the wrong one on.
What does prelude mean? The beginning?
Preludes, they're little, I don't know, actually, I didn't look up the actual definition
Sorry,
of prelude.
Jen.
That's okay, but they're usually little explorations.
Okay.
So an exploration of a key, like Opus 28 G minor would be his little exploration of what can I do in G minor, and just do something really short and play around with it.
Right.
And composers like Chopin and Bach is quite famous for his preludes and fugues, and he did 24 preludes, and so he did a little tune for each key,
Okay.
so 24, and then he wrote a fugue for each of those as well.
What's a view?
And we'll talk about preludes and fugues next time.
After this
Sorry,
break.
it's filling up some space. And Chopin was a big Bach fan. And
Oh,
so
okay.
he was like, right, I'm going to do some preludes as well.
Yeah.
And so he did every key, so 24 preludes. And then he wrote one more because he was like, I really like C sharp major, I think it was. He's like, so I think I really need to do another one of those. So I've chosen just 3 of these little preludes because they're quite good and emotional. So the one in G minor has a lot of energy and it's quite frenetic and enthusiastic, and it feels quite positive to me.
Okay.
So yeah, angling for some positive emotions coming out of lockdown and all this kind of
liking
stuff. Life changes.
That sounds good.
I
Katie.
accidentally put E minor on the playlist instead of G minor. So can we start with another one and not look for that while it's playing?
Sure. Do we have C minor?
I'm terribly sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. So this one in C minor is also really very positive.
That's good.
Is that one on there?
Yes, I do have
Excellent.
that
Okay, cool.
minor.
So this one to me feels really confident and quite majestic and fun.
Awesome.
And it's in C minor though, which is often seen as kind of a bit of a depressing key
Yeah.
instead of saying C major.
Yes.
But I'm here to turn that on its head because sometimes the minor keys can just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like me right now. And it can still feel quite good
Yeah.
without being negative.
Okay.
Awesome. Exciting.
Let's have a listen.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's do it. Playing. Hello, we're back. We're back.
Did that happen for anybody?
Have you got spare A channel on?
Yes.
And you've got it plugged into the right thing? Have you got your phone turned up?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because
Yes.
sometimes it turns itself off.
Let's try again.
And
Hang
then
on.
you've got the... Otherwise, we can use my phone. I'll get mine at the ready.
Boring.
Hello. Well, look, I tell you what, I'm just going to look for it on here. Let's talk about something else.
You chat.
Here,
and
I can
I'll,
tell you about Chopin if you
Do.
like.
That would
I'm
be
gonna learn
lovely.
some little-
Thank you, Jen.
Some
That
little
would be-
bits and pieces about Mr. Chopin.
Yes.
So yeah, he was born in about 1810. Yeah, here we go. He was born in 1810. He was a Polish composer. So he always sounds quite French to me. And he lived in Paris, I think, but he was Polish. And he was quite a virtuoso pianist of the Romantic period, which was in that 1800s, kind of post-Beethoven sort of time.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Send it to you, Lucy.
Thank you.
And what did he do? Yeah, he was a child prodigy pianist as well. So he finished his study quite early, and then busted out on the piano scene and
It's
made a
amazing,
name for
wasn't it?
himself.
How would it would. There you are. Sorry, hang on. I'm just passing Katie the phone. It's interesting, isn't it? How was he from a fairly well-to-do family? Because you can imagine how many people's talents were lost because they couldn't access education or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh.
But I am.
I don't know.
These days.
Actually,
obviously
I sort of
people-
assume
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes that it's particularly in the 1800s. I just assume that people that got into music had money.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. The whole
families-
thing needed a bit of cash.
They weren't like you need to work in a.
You'll need to turn it up on the side of the phone.
I feel like I'm third time lucky here.
Oh,
sweet,
you
okay.
reckon it's going to work?
think I fixed it.
Okay, this is good.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Apologies, everybody. Here we go.
Prelude in C minor. Give it a crack.
Oh gosh.
Okay, hello. I'm going to come round and just plug in my phone. It's all going to be fine.
Look at
Yes.
this.
It won't work.
No bugs. See? I've
Well,
plugged
everybody's
it
just
in.
quietly at home making up their own Chopin jokes.
Exactly.
What else are we
Plugged it
chopping?
I just need.
That one.
That's it.
Into that. See, it's all these dongles.
There's a lot of dongles.
That's what they're called.
I love
isn't
that
it?
word.
Dongle,
Used to make me giggle, but not today. So what am I playing? E minor.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
balls,
C minor.
C minor.
Oh.
Any
If
minute
you could,
now.
please.
Right. Any minute. Oh my gosh. What else can we talk about? Katie, why don't you do some chit-chatting while I
I'm
just...
paralysed.
No, you mustn't be paralysed. Please don't be paralysed. Right, C
Technical inability.
C minor. Where is he? Chopin, C minor. Is it that one?
That one, yeah.
All right. First of all, I'm going to turn that up. We're going to turn... Lovely. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Tell
kind
us
of,
about it, Jen.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, so that one in C minor is quite majestic.
Yes.
And it feels, to me, that feels really quite confident. Like
Yes.
the really big chords feel really confident, and they make me feel really good.
Yes.
You know, and I can breathe along with them a bit. And then it gets a little bit quiet, and it makes me feel quite contemplative too.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the kind of music you'd play if you just made a major life-changing decision, like quitting your job. Doesn't it? You know? And
I play
you
that
went-
on repeat for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it does, doesn't it? It sounds like
Yeah.
I've made this decision. I'm not quite sure where it's going. I feel quite confident that it's going to be good, but we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Katie's feeling the pressure because the cameras in the studio aren't working, so it's all about Katie tonight.
Yeah. It's the Katie
tech.
show.
It's
Hello,
We
Katie.
could just swap chairs. so
They've
that we
already
could-
seen my boobs as
Okay.
I was leaning over to play the music. Yes, I enjoyed that. I think Chopin, he's got a future in music.
That's lucky because he had no future in life. Yeah. Sorry, Show.
Was he famous while he was alive?
He was well known while he was alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he hung out with guys like Liszt, who was quite
He did.
famous,
He was
you know.
dishy.
Do you-
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
The romantic painters were big on list.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a famous painting of, and I can't remember who does it, but it was of the Gothic Romance era when all the poets like Percy Bysshe Shelley and Wordsworth and stuff were around, and he'd be staring over a valley in England, and it's all misty, and he's wearing a black
Yes.
suit and top hat. Do you
Yeah,
know the one
yeah.
I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, and that music was playing behind it when I saw it for the first time.
Oh.
It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Your microphone is just a little bit off. Sorry.
Yeah. Sweet.
What do you mean off?
That's it. It just wasn't in front of your face.
Okay.
It was really upsetting.
Right.
Do you think that they were fun time guys, you know, at the time? Like, you always imagine the painters, you know, the visual artists, they were kind of, you know, the
I think
hard-
Chopin was kind of a miserable sort of dude because
Oh,
he
was
wasn't really healthy.
He was sick.
He was
so
quite
had some concerns.
tuberculously, you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a long time, and he had relationships that didn't work, and
God.
including with George Sand,
I know.
you know,
That's a lady, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Amantine Dupin. Yeah,
Right.
it's a lady. Anyway,
Yeah.
her pen name was George Sand, so he hung out with George,
Right.
and was miserable.
God, I bet
but
George
wrote
found him
some
a real
great,
drag.
but wrote some great music.
Yeah.
while he was being miserable with
Okay.
her. So you know, he kind of embraced the misery.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, don't
on
take
him.
my misery away from me. And miserable. We'll put that in a minor key, and somebody named Jen will really like it later.
Yeah, that's right.
You know. Yeah. So I think he was a bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Tortured soul.
Yeah,
Possibly.
totally
Had
tortured
some-
kind of guy.
I'm going to I won't read out what my passcode is, but I'll come round,
That's
shall
all
I?
right, because
Okay.
I've got a major lined up. Is that okay?
Yep. Perfect.
Awesome. Shall we play that next?
Okay.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about A major?
This one's really lovely, actually. So it's in major key, which is the happier sort of sounding
Okay.
key. So, wow, Chopin wrote something happy. And it's really lovely. It's really dreamy.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds to me kind of like a bit of a waltz.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a
Awesome.
little short dance.
Let's do it. Have you put the mic on?
No, I've lost it again. I'm having a
Do you want me to come round? I'll come round. I'll come round. Hang on. I'm surrounded
Here it
by
comes.
wires.
Here it comes. I've
The
got it.
viewers get to see me if I come round.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
That's
There's
it.
Gins.
Wow, he
short.
didn't hang about, did
No,
he? That was
the prelude
lovely.
thing I like because they're
Short and
short and sweet, right?
Or short
So
and
if you want to
sad.
try out a composer and they've written some preludes, check out the preludes because they're consumable.
Yeah,
easily
like
consumable.
little takeaways.
Yeah.
Would they have been used back in the day as like, learning pieces? Are they almost like, piano teachery type of,
Yeah, piano
try-
teachers ended up using them a lot because they're short.
Yeah.
And because they get you to work in all the different keys.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Chopin and Bach, like we were saying before, wrote a prelude for every single key.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's just great. Great practice because it means that you wouldn't just stay in the easy keys. Like on piano, if you do C major and G major, you hardly really play it. You play in like one black key. It's all just
Right.
white keys, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easier.
Yes.
But if you play something in C sharp major, it's got like all the black keys,
Oh.
which is a lot harder.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was a good way to just get those under your fingers.
Yeah,
I
totally.
suppose. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So nice.
Where are we going to go next? Are we sticking with Chopin?
Well, yeah, I
Was
have
he French?
one more Chopin.
The minor?
Polish.
He's Polish, yes.
G minor. Do we have that one?
I've got C minor.
No, we played C minor.
We done
We
that?
could just do. You can whatever one you have on there. They're all lovely.
Let's see.
Do you want me to come over?
I've got E minor. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Great.
Let's do that. I'm like a discount Chopin centre.
Awesome.
2 for
Can't
1.
do you any C minor, love. No.
I could give you E minor. It goes well, runs well. It's got 4 wheels.
One careful owner.
All right. Please, God, let this work.
Okay.
Just, oh God. No.
What's
I
happening?
don't know, your phone's just upsetting
Do you want me to come round?
terribly.
That could-
Terribly
we've got to
upsetting.
put that on a
Here
pencil, haven't we?
go.
Okay. It's back on? Okay. Hi.
I'm giving up the seat.
Oh man.
You're giving up the seat?
I want you to
come
sit in
on.
the seat.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, right. Let's have a look. You didn't have the button on. Okay, right. I'm going to play this little cheeky number by Chopin.
Sit out of the shot for a
Maybe it's
while.
just very quiet. Is it a quiet one?
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, it's because my phone's been turned down. Sorry, Chopin. Oh, look, I'm feeling the emotion. Oh, he knew how to end things, didn't he?
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, I like that very much.
love that.
That's lovely. Now that's kind of you've booked a cottage, maybe somewhere windswept.
Yes.
I'm thinking like Cornwall. Oh, sorry. Oh, I haven't got you on. Oh, Katie.
Is that to get back at me for my terrible, my
yeah,
technical and flagrant?
I've got a batch somewhere windswept. I've read a letter from an elderly aunt telling me she
You're
will
not going to get the
exactly.
inheritance.
She's no longer thinks that I'm a special, but actually cousin Richard, and so I'm just contemplating Richard's demise. in that little number.
I like that. You're kind of taking control of your minor key.
Oh,
you're not just
absolutely.
crying about it. You're going to do something about it.
Absolutely, that's what that minor key showed me, is that I can't wallow.
No.
I'm a woman of action.
You've got to embrace those thoughts.
Absolutely.
So people might have recognized that one because it's been in a lot of movies.
Yes.
I think I'm just looking at the list of all the movies. It's been in Star Trek, The Next Generation. It's been in.
I wouldn't have picked that for a
50 Shades of Grey. Gross.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh, what would they have been doing to that?
Something
sorry.
BDSM.
Sorry, Shobi. Ooh. And it's been in The Notebook. That,
Oh,
Yes, I can see it being
I
there.
love a good cry.
that was such
do
a
love
good
The
tearjerker. And it was played at Chopin's own funeral.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but of course he did. You know, I love that. I wrote this, and I want that played at my funeral.
Then Liszt comes on and does chopsticks. Diddle-dun, dun, dun, dun. And by the way, people who could see me, that tune reminded me of, you know, those solar panelled nodding dogs you can get on your back seat of your parcel shelf. Like, it kind of, you could.
Mark's just sent me a message. Please remind Lucy the camera is on.
I
and
know
now
the
we can
camera's
see
on.
her every.
Yeah.
He knows I'm an inveterate show-off.
We know, Mups. There's nothing we can do.
No.
We're technically
Jen, tell us what's going to happen next.
prohibited.
So sorry, I keep migrating away from the microphone.
That's okay.
So those were the main pieces that I chose because they are preludes, and I wanted to get that whole prelude thing across to people that, for trying classical music, for the whole
Try a prelude.
try a prelude.
That's going on a pencil. Try a prelude.
But there's 24 of those, right? And he wrote 24 in all the different keys.
Yeah,
But
he
you could
actually
listen
wrote
them in
25.
one. 25. Okay.
Yeah, you can listen to them all in one go if you wanted, which
Takes
would
about
be
40
quite fun.
minutes.
It's like the
Yeah.
modern equivalent
They're
would
quite
be the
short.
7-inch single, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Wedding Present did in fact do a similar thing. They released a single a month for 12 months. And it was like an introduction to the Wedding Present.
Excellent. Yeah,
Here you are.
Very nice.
English punk band.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it were punk.
Kind of like Chopin punk. Yeah. he was edgy. Yeah. Yeah, but they're short. So, you know, like that one, they're each written out. They're only a page of musical notes, most of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're super short.
Yeah.
And for Chopin, they're actually mostly quite delicate. A few of them are quite big and poundy, I think. But yeah, the
Speaking of big and boundy, what's next?
I know, what's next? Rachmaninoff.
Isn't he big and poundy?
Yeah. So Rachmaninoff. So these ones had a little bit of melancholy, a little bit short.
Yeah.
And I was cruising through movies to watch the other day because I'm like, I'm bored, I want to watch a movie. And I when I'm like that, I don't look for new movies. I look for movies I've seen before. I need a comfortable movie, and I love the movie Shine. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
From was it even the 90s?
Oh,
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush plays, tortured pianist.
Mm,
and
that's
it's quite a
right.
sad story. It's about a guy who was really emotionally abused and physically abused by his father, who was pressured him to become a concert pianist. And so this horrible push and pull throughout the whole movie about him trying to please his father, can never please his father, but also wanting to please himself because he's really good.
Yeah.
And one of the main piece in that movie is Rachmaninoff's third piano concerto in D minor. And it's fabulous. If you've seen that movie, it's where he's performing on stage and actually just completely snaps, like loses it, and like I can't even remember if he finishes it or not, and he just kind of like crashes down onto the floor, and you just see him. Oh, it's great cinematography too, but he just like brain completely fries.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing piece. I know, and but it's got 3 movements in it, and the third movement it's about 12 minutes long, so it's a bit too long for doing on the show. But I thought if we can just play toward the end of it, which is just the really righteous stuff. It's just beautiful.
From about after 11.
Yeah.
11.
After battle. So it's Rachmaninoff's.
Okay. I'm just trying to find it. Sorry. I'm with you. I'm nearly there.
Piano Concerto Number 3
Okay.
in D minor.
What do we know about Rachmaninoff?
Rachmaninoff was a composer of things.
Let's play the song.
Let's like play the song and then we'll do some.
Okay, that sounds good.
And just from like 11, like the last 3 minutes or so.
You want me to play the last 3 minutes?
From 11 minutes on.
From 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second then, please.
Okay.
It's quite
please.
technically difficult, his stuff, eh?
It's so difficult. It's huge. He uses giant chords with both hands all the time. So it's massive. And this one is accompanied by orchestra.
I'm just doing a gentle fade in.
Oh, nice.
Am I in the
you.
right place?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
stop
let's
then.
listen to this.
Oh, God, prepare to have your socks blown off. That were
Love
epic. That was epic.
And that was just like the last 3 minutes, right?
Wow,
the
imagine.
whole
Wow.
thing is quite amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's powerful right there because it's the end. Sorry to give it away at the end, but the rest of the piece is just as technically amazing and so emotional, so
Very
big.
emotional.
It's huge.
Yes.
We were saying that he plays, like, a lot of Rachmaninoff's pieces are, the full chords, both hands going at it,
Wow.
really challenging
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And you have played some in your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that. That's hard. That's so hard. I played some other smaller Rachmaninoff things that were really challenging because they were full, using huge chords with your whole hands.
He must have had big hands.
Well,
Yeah.
I think.
apparently he was noted for his unusually hard
hard
and
hands.
large. Whoops. That already answered. Unusually large hands that could span, like the span was large, but also the hands and fingers were also large. That he could easily reach
12?
Yeah,
I
and
think
his
he could
left
reach
hand was
12.
unusually powerful.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So
I think I've heard some recordings of him playing some of his pieces that were great. But yeah, like where my hands are sort of large for a medium-sized female, and I could reach an octave on the piano easily.
Yeah.
So that's from like C to a C.
Yeah.
The C above it. So 8 keys.
Yeah.
So 8 keys.
Wow.
And he could reach 12.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Big.
Whoa.
Super big. And so like always really big, stretched out.
Yeah.
And it's not like you were just playing two things. It's not like you would be playing, I'm playing a key with my thumb and a key with my pinky finger. You're like playing all the ones in between as well,
Yeah.
That's insane.
Busy.
Such clarity.
Oh, just huge. Cute. I love it. And I like that. So going back to the movie, just the big emotions
Yes.
that I feel and that remind me of the movie when I'm listening to that music, because I'm just like, this person was so tortured, but also he was he going to do it? Was he going to escape his father?
Yeah.
Was he going to please his father and escape his father? Just super big feels. But then just the personal feels that I have when I listen to something so technically beautiful, brilliant, and difficult, and that just feels again kind of majestic and powerful, and I don't know, even if I'm not thinking about the movie, that just feels fabulous. And you get to the end and you're just like out of your seat going, you do it all. That's right. I totally didn't do that. Sit down, Jen. The rack, right.
It does make you think about, in these troubled times that we live in, when, some people, I mean, we're beyond Trump now, which is nice, but still the planet seems to be full of people who could behave a little bit better, couldn't they? So I think sometimes listening to music, written by people with those huge talents, makes you realise that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We just keep doing, nice things for each other. Yeah.
And do triumphant things.
Yes, triumphant things. That's beautiful.
That feels triumphant at the end as well. It's just like, you can do amazing things, and here's your soundtrack,
Yeah.
It just feels like you smashed the world and came on top.
Yes.
At the end there, just
love it.
I love it. So if anybody likes that kind of really big, wow, that was exciting kind of piano concerto accompanied by a whole orchestra.
Yeah.
Check out the Rachmaninoff third piano concerto.
Okay.
In D minor.
Okay.
Which is what we just listened to.
Okay.
And try out the whole thing.
Okay.
So it'll have 3 movements. The first one is a bit fast, not as fast as what we just listened to the last one. So the first movement is kind of fast, good walking pace.
Yep.
And the middle movement is a little bit slower, so you can kind of like just chill for a little while.
Yep.
Before you get to that last movement, which is all about the triumphant ass kicking. Sorry. Beep. Sorry. Yeah. So Rachmaninoff's good fun.
And do we know anything about him as a man, apart from the fact he had huge hands?
He started playing the piano when he was 4.
Yep.
And he was known for his not photographic memory, but a peculiar ability to remember everything.
Right.
So he could play that
from
note
memory.
for note from memory.
Yeah.
That's nuts, isn't it? Wow.
So he was Russian? Yeah, he was Russian.
Russian-born.
And he was also, like Chopin, the other reason I like him is he was kind of a depressive sort of soul.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
The tortured folks that managed to get that bit of that out
Yes.
and onto the sheet music. I'm just like, thank you, man.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry you were tortured, but wow.
And he died in America, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Beverly
died in
Hills.
Beverly Hills,
So he must have been an emigre
1943.
from the war. He must have escaped Russia.
Maybe.
Potentially, because I also it would have been difficult for him because Stalin had kind of complete control of the creative scene, didn't he?
Yeah.
Once he got his talons in.
Yeah.
And I don't expect. I mean, it must have been awful to be in that situation where you either play what Stalin liked or you didn't play at all, possibly because you were killed
or else.
Yeah. So escaping probably left him with mixed emotions because clearly he had a very big Russian soul.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, just totally love it.
And 1944 he died. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, he did have a very depressive life.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What can you just
he
do some
suffered
snippets?
writer's writer's block in 1900
Oh.
and said he felt like a person with a stroke who had no brain activity but
Wow.
could only
Wow.
use his hands. But he
Ooh.
felt so depressed that he couldn't write anything.
Oh, wow.
And then he recovered, undergoing hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
Oh.
and worked with a therapist for daily sessions to improve his sleep patterns, mood, and his new musical ideas began to stir.
Wow, there you are.
And that's when he wrote his Piano Concerto No. 2.
Oh.
Okay.
Wicked.
So there you are. Proof that therapy works. And everybody
all
needs
for
it. Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Wow. Go Rachmaninoff.
Oh, well, that's
Jeez.
marvellous. Have we got
Anyway.
any more, Jen, or are we...
That was it for
We-
me. I didn't want to overdo it. Just, give you some few big emotions.
Yes.
Some big emotion bombs.
Oh, it's been lovely, Jen. It's been really lovely.
you.
And
Thanks
tell
for
us,
having me.
you've been, I know you've been creative, and the, the break from paid employment
Yeah. Mine's the money.
has been quite good for you in the creative sense. Would I say? Can I, make that statement?
Yeah, it's kind of allowed me to get back into drawing,
Yeah.
which is my favorite thing to do, and gradually start pulling out some little characters and a different style. So I'm going to illustrate a couple of children's books, and that's been on the works for a long time. And so the authors are probably like, "You've been talking about this for a year. Can we have the pictures, please?" But it's nice that they haven't said that to me yet, and also that I can have this break and then from now on out, focus more of my energies on those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been really enjoying exploring drawing sea creatures, which is
Yes.
so fun. An octopus.
You did a lovely octopus.
Yes.
Yeah, it's playing around with
I love their
octopus.
suckers.
I tried to
Yeah.
find earlier on that day, before I saw your post with the octopus, I'd been on BBC, and at the end of the BBC's apps news page, they always have photography, and there was it was the winner of some prize. Anyway, it was an octopus in one of the photographs, just like yours. It was spooky. So when I saw your octopus, it was like it was that octopus from earlier on the day had kind of crept into other parts of my life. And I tried to find you the photograph and the artist, because he was, it could have been a lady. I don't know the gender, but they were. It was highly stylized photography and kind of quite sci-fi and dystopian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
They're fascinating to draw because they're so, no bones.
Yeah.
So the legs are just like curling around and, roiling and writhing. And how do you draw that? And then remember to draw the suckers on as well, because you get so focused on drawing their legs curling around, and are the legs doing anything? It's just, it's been fun. So having a lot of fun getting back into drawing has been such a boost.
Are you drawing from pictures, or do you want to see one in real life?
I often do draw from photos, because that's kind of what's quickly available.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to draw somebody's photo and just copy it.
No.
But it's reference material.
Yeah.
The Marine Centre in Island Bay. Have you ever been there?
No, need to go.
It's incredible.
Okay.
And you can have birthday parties.
Sketching day.
But I think it's only for children. I think they should do it for adults.
Right.
And there's a fish there, a really funny fish called Boris, who has this blog, and he talks about the octopus because the octopus slides through, because octopuses can get through really tiny holes.
Yeah.
So there's a hole between two tanks that it's probably about as big as, hold your hand up like that. It's about that hole. What Lucy's holding up the hole.
Yeah.
Like the size of a good apple.
Yeah.
That's a big apple. So grapefruit, babes. Medium
Yes,
grapefruit.
And he goes from tank to tank.
And he goes just through.
Wow.
But
Whoa.
he's so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're very intelligent.
I should go
octopus.
and take, and check him out and take my own photos.
And there's
Yeah.
a sea rocky pool touching table. So everything's open, and they rotate in the sea creatures so that they don't get freaked out, because people can touch them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got interpreters and people who keep an eye on the kids who aren't poking the sea cucumber too much. But
That's good.
it's amazing.
I've been to a touching table at another famous aquarium in New Zealand, and it wasn't that well supervised, and the creatures
God.
in it were so sad.
Where
and
was that?
Boo.
it-
Are you not allowed to say?
Well, I don't want to dob them in, but
Okay.
I mean, I think it's been in the press that maybe they were having a few troubles, not just with the touching table. But yeah, seeing a starfish with, one of its thingies off.
Oh, no.
I know, and the kids were like, kids are ruthless, aren't
Island
they?
Bay Marine Education Centre, all the way.
They've got it.
Okay.
They understand how
And
to
a
run
lot of
conduct.
the
Looking after the
guides
critters.
are marine biologist students.
Oh,
So they know
fun.
their stuff.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I want to have my birthday
I
party
love
there.
sea creatures, though.
I might have my 50th birthday party there.
Oh, that's a good
Oh, you
idea.
should.
Well, that's at least 20 years
Because
away,
I'm
though,
trying to
darling.
figure
What
out
are you
how
going
how to go for a birthday party. I don't have kids, so it'd be a bit creepy if I show up for a
Yeah.
birthday party there. Unless it's yours.
I was going to say borrow a child, but that's even creepier.
Could be. That's why I think one year I was like, Lucy, your kids need to go to this. There was like the baby pops, the
That's
Wellington
right.
Orchestra
Yeah,
came to
didn't we?
Masterton. I was like, you have to go, and I talked it up for like a week, and you were excited about it, and I was glad because I wanted to go, but it was just for kids.
That was a
But I
great
wouldn't
day.
turn you away if you turned up without a kid.
Probably not, but I felt a little less awkward showing up with Lucy and Lucy's kids.
Happy to help.
Legitimate-
Happy to help.
Good
Yeah.
for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, Jen,
Using
it's
you.
been
Thank
lovely.
you,
Yeah, can I also say that you've also got back on your bike?
Oh.
And we will be talking to you
yeah.
about, you're going to do, go and tell us, just brief, go on, just tell us.
All right, I'm shouting out to Megan Savage and Gretchen Solbury and Heidi Holbrook. Those three ladies and I have signed up to do the tour Aotearoa in February 2022. Wow! Yeah, and that's riding our bikes from the tip of the North Island, from Cape Reinga, all the way down to Bluff.
Whoa.
So it's 3,000 kilometers over about 30 days, which will
Yes.
Wow.
And the interests
Yeah.
of bipartisan radio journalism will be following your journey, as we did Sav
Oh,
and
yes.
Mike
Oh, good.
and
Pete.
Pete,
Yes, we did.
who were Megan and Gretchen's respective other halves.
Yes.
And are you doing any fundraising for this, or just
we actually haven't had that chat yet. 'Cause
Yeah.
we just kind of got together. We had our first ride together today, which was fabulous. And
You're all gelling
yeah,
in your
yeah.
peloton.
Yes.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, we all have kind of similar. We seem to have kind of similar fitness levels and enthusiasm. So it's going to be a great crew.
Great.
And one of the registration fee for the tour is you just pay $100 to your favorite charity each person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then throughout the journey, it's an opportunity to do fundraising
Yeah.
as well. And we
Yeah.
haven't had a chat to decide exactly what we're doing yet in that space. So, yeah.
I can
Great.
see
But-
some T-shirts mocked up by you, Jen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, totally.
Couple of octopus on a bike. Octopi, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Octopi on a bike.
Could
You
happen.
yeah. I love that. Could we
Yeah.
could we have a couple
Lots
as
of-
friends of the
Okay,
ride?
yeah. Friends.
We'll meet
Friends
you
of the crew.
again.
Yeah, we will.
We'll ride you into Greytown.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that would
you
be so
Ride
good.
you into Greytown.
Ah, thanks. That would be so. Did I say good? It'll be so exciting, though.
That'd be great.
Yeah, pretty
Are
stoked.
you having
to do
guest
something
riders?
hard. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You should do a little section, Dave.
Yeah, come and do a section.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we haven't asked anybody yet. But
Exactly.
you're
You've
first
invited
on the
yourself.
list, Katie.
I wouldn't want to intrude.
Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Well, Jen, as
that's
ever, it's been wonderful to have you here.
Thanks,
it feels
team.
like, the old crew is back together again.
Oh,
Hasn't it? You all right there, Katie?
so good.
Good. I know we've got phone calls to make. Yeah, we better do that.
Right.
Okay, so shall we go out on a bit of music?
Yeah, sure,
have you got one that we can play? Thank you,
yes,
Jen.
yes,
We'll see you in not next month, the month after.
Yes, thank you
for
very
your
much.
regular thing.
Music torture.
What are we going to play?
Let us play. Let us play.
Yes.
Let us play.
Yes. Do you want me to read them out?
Oh no, play Strange Effect.
Strange Effect. That's the one I can't see.
This
Oh
is
yes, I
Raven
can see it.
Violet. So this is the theme tune, if it sounds familiar, to the 9 Perfect Strangers,
Oh,
which is currently playing on Prime Amazon.
the Leanne Moriarty novel.
Yes, it's been mini-serialized with Nicole Kidman, but everybody else is awesome. And that is my personal opinion.
Okay, tell us how you really feel. I do love the
She's
book.
had too much Botox and she can't emote with her
Has she?
face.
Has she also gone down the? I know.
Stop it,
I know,
Turn
Katie.
the camera off until I
Katie.
turn it off now.
All right,
Play
I'm
the
gonna
song.
play the song. Strange Effect. You're having a
I'm
strange
sorry,
effect.
Nicole.
Hello. That caught me by surprise. Oh, and that was a hard stop as well. You are listening to ReCooper8 on 92.7 FM, Arrow FM, your community access radio station. I think that's probably the first proper introduction we've given to the entire show today. We've had a few technical issues with Katie's phone, but we're all good now, and we're going to call Jane Ross. Now, Katie is just out of the room. She is saying goodbye to Jen. Jen was here doing music appreciation, which she does so beautifully. And Katie's back. That's good. I'm just looking for Jane's number. I'm sure I have it. Absolutely certain. Otherwise, this is going to be an interesting... Oh, it'd be helpful if I spelled her name wrong. Did Jane get off all right? Yes. Good. Jane Ross, here she is. Okay, let's give her a call. Let's hope it all works. Okay, come on. Return to call. Oh, it's ringing. Can you hear it?
Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Jane. How are you?
Well, I'm well. How are you tonight?
We're good, thank you. I'm sorry we're a bit later than we said because we got carried away.
Hi, Jane. With Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
Have you been listening to the music that Jen delighted us with?
I have indeed. It's been really therapeutic. It's quite lovely.
Oh,
quite lovely.
She's a great girl, and I always find that quite a few of our listeners have been turned on to classical music because of Jen, so that's good. Like you turn people onto film, Jane, because you're so awesome. Now, tell us how things have been going, because your whole life must be kind of dominated by your Wairarapa Film Festival, given that it's kind of in 3 stages. It's like a multifaceted event. How are your energy levels? How are you keeping going?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling pretty excited as it happens.
Good.
Thank you very much for asking. It does seem like a long stretch since I talked to you in May, and then I actually think the last time I saw you was quite possibly at the Carterton Event Centre in July.
Yes.
For the big red carpet event. How did you find it?
It was a top night. It was I really enjoyed the film. It was very, very it was hilarious in parts. I thought, the script was great. They did a great job. And it was, to put together a feature film, it was, what was it called? 2 Idiots and a Tin Whistle? And that's right. And it was a good film. I enjoyed it lots. I thought they did a great job, using... because I know they put it together quite quickly and they fundraised for all their money, and clearly everybody was having an absolute ball in the film. I thought they did a great job, and I really hope they keep going. Do you know if they've got any other projects in the pipeline?
Well, I said to them that you have caused quite a stir, because that was a huge, stormy, wintry night.
Oh, it was, that's right.
But we still managed, yeah. I mean, the Rewataka Hill Road was closed, flights were grounded coming into Wellington. I was getting text messages all night. Greg Lang wasn't able to make it. And the people that did make it, I was just in awe of them. I was really, really humbled. And I said to Jason and Eli, look what you've done. Look at all these smiling, happy people who have come out here tonight. And I just said to them, look, please come back. Please do another project. Please make another film over here in the Wairarapa. And Jason just wrote back straight away and said, how could I not, with how welcoming and how amazing everybody was and how we were embraced for that premiere.
Oh, it was, you're right. I think you put on, hang on. Who's calling? Oh, no, I tell you what, sorry, hang on 1 second. That was my alarm telling me that I need to put my heater on. Sorry about that. I knew there was something I've forgotten to turn off. We get 3 free hours of power. So me and Jez have both got an alarm, which means we turn everything on even if we don't need it. Anyway, sorry, Jane. I think what you did that night was, it really did feel glamorous, didn't it, Katie?
It did. The red carpet.
The red carpet. Awesome. And everybody was so excited to be out. And I think we've all become a much more appreciative of the moments that we can all get out together to do something community-minded, because COVID shows us that, you know, that can quite quickly get taken away. So I think you're right. And I think those people who were able to get there, because the weather was shocking, you know, just felt the warm love. But you have such a way with you, Jane. You do manage to make people feel ever so looked after. You've got great Manaaki-tanga. Yeah. In my view, and Katie shares it. So, it was a great event.
That's lovely. I just really love the filmmakers who are telling their stories, and I mean, it really is putting yourself out there on the line to actually go through the processes of making a film and then sharing it with people.
Yes.
It's really scary and really quite terrifying. So I'm in awe of anyone that does that.
Yeah.
But I'm also really, really supportive of anyone that is wanting to make a film here in the Wairarapa. I'm behind them 100% to actually just connect with their audience and to support them in that way. I've always kind of thought, you know, there's nothing really more fulfilling than helping people to tell stories. I've always loved telling stories myself.
Yeah.
And to be in a position where I can actually say, hey, you've got a film, let's find your audience and let's share it with them and let's talk about it. That's just a really cool thing to be part of.
Yeah, totally.
And what was brilliant the next day is that Jason and Eli, the film makers for Two Idiots and a Tin Whistle, they also did a workshop the next day, which was sold out.
Yes.
Over 25 people came to that the
Wow.
next day on Sunday. And that tells me that there are people here in the Wairarapa that really do want to get their stories into film.
Yes.
And so I'm just happy to be nurturing that and happy to be part of that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on
Very
you.
cool.
Awesome. And so you're heading into the third and final
Instalment.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah, it is indeed the spring program, which will be in Martinborough's Circus Cinema. And also there's a couple of free events happening outside of the screenings as well. So whenever I put on sort of a film festival program, I always want it to be a way of bringing a community together and connecting with communities and just encouraging that social well-being around the connection with stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with what's happening at the library. The good people at Martinborough Library are going to be sharing some archival photographs that I've managed to pull together, and with the help of Martinborough's Nate Higginson, who's a local historian, Gareth Winter, a local historian, and the good people at Wairarapa Archives. They've been really great at sourcing images with me, and I've had lots of fun looking through old black and white photographs and old albums that have been donated and finding these beautiful black and white images of our earliest cinema. And ones of the Greytown Town Hall. I've got one from 1927 where everyone is standing outside waiting to go to a screening of Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm.
Oh.
And, I know. And it's brilliant. Everyone is so dressed up for the moment, and it looks like this huge community connection at the Greytown Town Hall in this image as well. And so we'll share those images with anyone that wants to visit Martinborough Library in the 2 weeks leading up to the film festival in October. So that's one part of it. And then we've got 5 whole happy days of screening, which is really cool. And I get to bring my wonderful friend Christian Nicholson, who is an artist and a filmmaker. And I've talked about him quite passionately before, but he is the dude who puts the fever in sci-fi fever, and and another amazing man that spent 5 years of his life, $100,000 of his own money, which he actually made through his art, through art sales, and a whole lot of goodwill from friends and just really interested people that gave up 5 years of their lives to make, and here's the claim, the biggest low-budget science fiction film ever made in New Zealand. Yeah, putting it out there.
That's a bold claim.
I know. And the title is, this giant papier-mâché boulder is actually really heavy. And I've held the boulder, it actually is heavy. He brings his props with him to the cinema, so expect to be sort of immersed into the landscape of his science fiction worlds that he creates when you actually come to Circus Cinema to see the screening. It's just incredible.
Brilliant.
And he's also going to be putting on an art exhibition at the wonderful Schmid Gallery in Ohio Street in Martinborough.
Yep.
So he does really amazing landscapes, science fiction sculptures. I've just posted a brilliant one of his stormtroopers on my Wairarapa Film Festival page, just so people can get a feel for like the sort of breadth and depth of his work.
Yeah.
And to see he's really into pop culture as well, and so we're going to have a real interesting mix. And he's a surfer, and he actually surfs out at Tora, and so he's bringing some of his wonderful landscapes where he's actually really captured the wild ruggedness of that coastline, and that's going to complement the screenings that are happening. So opening night is his film, and it's kind of a Tora theme, really, because I've got 2 short films which are also music videos that were also shot entirely on the South Wairarapa coast to really highlight the Tora area, and they were made by a Wellington-based filmmaker. His name's Moo Moore, and are you familiar with the music video for LAB's In the Air? Have you ever watched that?
No, not yet, but I think I will be doing so.
Yeah, I think in your future, check it out, because that's one of the music videos. We're going to screen that, and Moon's going to be present to talk to the audience. It was entirely shot down at Tora Beach, and it's beautiful, it's stunning, and it's a beautiful, romantic, really lovely story of 2 young people in love driving down at Tora with the really cool beats of In the Air from LAB, and it's really great. Awesome. So that's the first night. It's kind of three films that all feature the South Wairarapa coast in some form and some scenes. And then we've got kind of the sci-fi cult thing going on, because Christian's film really does have quite a cult following all over the world. Right. He just did this amazing tour with that film when it was first released in 2015, where he not only entered it into all the, like the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival, but he actually went with the film. And, if he couldn't actually get into having it screened as part of the film festival, he just set up a laptop in the street. Now, what
awesome. That's so cool.
He actually did that at the Sundance Film Festival. He just set up a laptop in the street and played his film to anyone that wanted to stop and watch it. I just love this guy. He's one of my favourite people.
That's genius.
So yeah, he'll be with us for a couple of days on the 27th of October, and again on the 28th of October there'll be a matinee screening.
Okay.
And but we've also got some classic New Zealand films. There's the heater alarm again.
I know. Sorry, I haven't actually turned the alarm off. I don't know what to do to my phone to make that happen. So, without cutting you off as well, Jane. So it might happen again, but I hope not. Carry on. Keep going.
Okay. All right. The absolute wonderful Vincent Ward, who was born down in Greytown and went to school at Kurunui College, and is, one of the most amazing award-winning, acclaimed international award-winning filmmakers. I'm showing one of his earlier works, The Navigator, in the Medieval Odyssey.
That's my fave.
That's one of Katie's favourites, yeah.
I'm really happy because I know that you also really like The Singing Trophy, and that's going to be the short film before The Navigator.
So
there's
right.
a double whammy for you.
Well, that's definitely what you can take me along to that, Katie. I'll be your plus one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't look that keen, actually, Jane. So
You have to dress up in medieval clothing.
Oh yes, okay, I can do that.
Oh yeah, I like the sound of that. And I've got the wonderful Dr. Alfio Leota, who teaches New Zealand film at Victoria University, and he always has film students in his classes from the Wairarapa, from our secondary schools, that make the transition over. So he's become a friend for the festival. He came and spoke and introduced Vigil in May during the autumn program at Regent 3 Cinemas, and just loved the experience, and he's asked if he can come back again. So we'll have him to introduce those two films, because he teaches both of those films as part of his program. So I kind of feel like we're getting to sit on a bit of an academic lecture without even having to pay the course fee. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You've got some big hitters.
Yeah. And then I'm showing a really stunning classic vintage film called Rewi's Last Stand, which was originally shot in 1929 by Rudolph Hayward, but he remade it in 1940. That's the one that we're going to screen, and the lead actress is a beautiful woman named Ramai Tanika. She ended up marrying the filmmaker Rudolph Hayward, so she's also Ramai Hayward. And together they're both regarded as the pioneering feature filmmakers in New Zealand. They just made some beautiful, amazing feature films. They travelled to different towns in New Zealand and made up to about 16 different feature films in different towns, and sort of had a model that they did. But Ramai was actually born in Paranoa in the 1920s, and she still has whānau that are living in the area. So I really wanted to have one of her films, and this is her first starring role. I really wanted it because of her connection with Ngāti Kahanunu and local iwi, so that was really important. And that film's been gifted by the wonderful people at Ngā Tauna Sound and Vision, our National Film Archive.
Marvellous. Well done.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, that's epic, and how exciting, for Martinborough, because you've showcased Carterton, Masterton, and now it's Martinborough's turn. They must be pretty excited as a community to have this coming to their doorstep, and I think that's the lovely thing about this festival is you can make it so local. It's local to the Wairarapa, but then it's kind of hyper local in the way that you're delivering the instalments.
Well, one thing that I'm really proud about with the spring program that's screening in Martinborough is that every single film is connected to South Wairarapa. Either the films have been made there or the filmmakers are from there. But I've also got another premiere night, it's a red carpet event that's happening as a matinee on Saturday the 30th of October. Dead excited, really, really excited about this one. It's a beautiful film called Milk, which is going to be the short film. Oh, I know.
Our friend Celia.
Yes.
That's it. It's been making waves.
Yes.
I'm so proud of what Celia and her team, and basically I'm really proud of the Martinborough community for the way that they got behind this film and really supported it. I do feel that it's a Martinborough community event, and it made absolute sense to me that they would, that the film would come back to Martinborough for its Wairarapa premiere.
Yeah.
So it's really one of the reasons why I'm having this program in October. Is as soon as Milk was available to be given back to screen for the Martinborough community, that's when I programmed this film festival. So it really was all around Milk. And everything else came around that, because at its heart is the community of Martinborough. So, it's all for them.
That is going to be epic.
Well done.
Better stock the bar
really
doubly,
is.
Jane. Stock the bar with milk and beer and everything.
We should get Celia on, shouldn't we?
We should.
We're going to roll out some red carpet again. It's going to be brilliant for this. And, have a look at this film, because Celia's done an amazing job of entering it into every film festival possible.
Yeah.
And it's just been swooping up award after award, around the globe. And it's just been so heartwarming to see the way that the world is embracing this beautiful story, because at its heart, the story is about kindness. it's about community and well-being, and isn't that just lovely that the world is embracing that?
Yeah, totally. I think we're all kind of thirsty for that, eh? So that's marvellous. Oh yeah, I just realised I did a wonderful pun there. Jane, how do people kind of get tickets? How do they hear more about this?
Yeah.
I've been really impressed by your Facebook presence. You're kind of keeping everybody up to date, but just give us the lowdown of how we can access all this stuff.
Yeah, so all the information, if you want to see the full program, you just go yfilmfest.co.nz and it's all there, the whole schedule, all the screenings, all the times, the synopsis of all the films. The information is right there for you on that very dedicated website. Also, early in the year, I recorded a number of podcasts with particular filmmakers, and I recorded one with Celia Jaspers and her daughter Charlotte Jaspers, and they're all on the website too, so you can access them there. So the schedule's there, the information screening schedule is there, the podcasts are there, and just all the sort of daily announcements are happening through Facebook, and I'm sharing them out, particularly as I'm confirming new guest speakers at these different events as well. And to buy tickets, it's all happening through Circus Cinema. And you can either buy them in person, you can book through email, or you can make a telephone reservation.
Okay.
And, it's just all normal prices. There's no extra ticketing on top of the normal prices. So
awesome.
Adults $16, senior students $14, child is $11.
Okay.
And to that, I really want to acknowledge the wonderful people at South Wairarapa Creative Community Scheme who gave me the funding to actually be able to put some of the promotion and advertising for this together and produce the booklets and the programs and posters that will be, now that, the levels are going down and changing again, I feel that I'm at a point where I can start putting out the distribution of the programs now. It's been a little bit of a nervous time.
But
things are looking good.
Good. You're feeling confident.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
good. Yeah.
Jane, I'm just wondering, we have film festivals around New Zealand, but I'm not aware of anyone else kind of doing it the way that you're doing it. Do you know if you are kind of, a unique spin on how to deliver a festival? And have you had any interest in kind of, you helping others around the country? Because we have lots of small communities that are kind of bound together either because they're in the same region or they share a history or, oh God, sorry, it's my heater again. Do you know if you are unique in this department?
I think I might be.
Oh, lovely!
It was actually my original thinking to have it this way because the Wairarapa as a whole is a wonderful place that has so many stories. And the more I looked into films that were being made here in the Wairarapa, the more I realised that there was this rich, long history. And there were films being made in Masterton, and films being made in Carterton, and films being made in South Wairarapa. And originally I was just going to base it in one place, but then the amount of actual films that I could access started to grow, and I realised that I could actually spread it out and have an autumn program in Masterton, a winter program in Carterton, and a spring program in South Wairarapa, and it would all just work and flow so beautifully. And it came as a surprise, but it kind of evolved when I started putting the program together, and then also just talking to the different councils and funding bodies that belong to the different councils, it actually could happen and it actually could work. And I kind of get this feeling that I've seen, and we've talked about this before, where we have these wonderful festivals that happen, but sometimes, there's events that are happening at the same time, but they're happening in the different districts and we can't get to everything. And I didn't want to create competition between the districts.
No.
Didn't want people in Carterton to feel that they couldn't see something that was happening in Martinborough at the same time. So it made sense to me to just spread it throughout the year, and it was actually it was a go.
Yeah.
And
really
the
worked.
good news is I've already worked out a program for next year as well.
Oh, look out.
I know. Newsflash, it's going to happen. It's happening again.
Oh,
Good.
So, it's been cool.
Oh.
And I've been humbled by the way that the community has embraced it and supported it.
Yeah.
I'm also humbled by the way that the film community in Aotearoa has embraced it too, and the way that filmmakers have been so passionate and keen to come and meet audiences here and talk to audiences, and they just, they have their stories and their knowledge and their sort of story about being involved in particular films, and they really just are very happy to share that knowledge and meet people and connect with people that feel the same way and want to know more and want to know where stories come from and how films get made and know more about creative processes and know more about the people that were involved. So I'm always really keen to encourage that kind of film culture and connection.
Yeah.
And in addition to this film festival that's happening for the Wairarapa Film Festival, pretty soon in November and December we will also have Whānau Marama, the New Zealand International Film Festival, which is also flipping exciting. It's something I've been part of for a number of years, and here's my other big news flash tonight. Really excited to say that I'll also be bringing filmmakers to Masterton again to talk to audiences as part of Whānau Marama New Zealand International Film Festival. So I'll be partnering with them again to actually make some more events happen in November and December.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well done. That's marvellous. Gosh, you know your onions, I tell you that.
Always a pleasure, Jane.
Yeah, it's lovely to talk to you, Jane. And we'll see. Well, we love getting dressed up.
We'll see you on the red carpet.
Yeah, definitely. And will that photographer be there again?
Don't you just love him?
Oh, he was great. He took a good photo too.
But the photos were just stunning. He's got a way of capturing people and bringing out the best in people, and I love the way he captures people in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's coming as my friend. He's going to be there as an audience member for the Martinborough Film Festival. We've talked that one through, and we love hanging out. We're always in it together. There's a couple more films that I wanted to tell you about if there's time.
Yes.
Is there time?
You've got. I reckon you've got a minute or two.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna knock it out.
Okay.
On Saturday, the 30th of October at 7:15, I'm presenting two films that were shot at Martinborough Vineyards. One's called Kasuda, and another one's called A Seat at the Table. And there's going to be some wine tasting happening and the vineyard.
Nice crossover.
Yeah, I know that the winemakers are going to be there to talk to the audience because, they were stars in the film, so that's really cool. And then I've also got on Sunday a screening of Juanita Dealey directed a beautiful film called A Home in This World. And then followed by a film that was made about the Featherston military camp, and that's called March On. And Juanita, Neil Francis and Alan Honey, the filmmakers for March On, will be present at that film screening as well.
Okay.
Yay!
Oh, you did it. You did it. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jane. We'll catch up with you. We'll definitely have you on next year to talk about next year's festival, but I'm sure we'll see you again very soon. And thank you so much for joining us again tonight. And we will definitely see you on the red carpet.
Thank you, Jane.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you. It's always lovely to be on the show. Thank you so much. You're both looking great, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Wow,
Bye.
there's some good stuff happening there,
Some
Lucy.
incredible stuff,
I can't wait for you to see Navigator
I
and
know.
see if you love it as much as I do.
Okay.
Did.
You still do?
I still do.
Yeah.
But it was like a formative film. I saw
Okay.
it when I was probably 12 or 13,
Right.
I think.
Um,
Aging myself there, but wow, it kind of blew my mind.
Okay, we'll definitely go and see that.
Yeah.
I've got a. I was telling you in the car that in homage to today's to Jane, me and Isla had a Taika Waititi weekend.
Yes.
And we watched Hunt for the Wilder People, then Boy,
Yes.
then What We Do in the Shadows. And I feel the love. And then I tried to get Isla to watch an episode of Flight of the Conchords, and she'd been laughing like a drain
Yeah.
at What We Do in the Shadows,
Yeah.
but she didn't get Flight of the Conchords at all.
But that was when they went to the American market.
Yeah.
Slightly different, I reckon.
Still funny.
Still funny, but very different from their live
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. Okay.
And early on. Just to...
No, you're right. You're
So,
right.
no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Should we have a little sing-song?
Let's do it.
And then we're going to talk to Jared
Yes.
Gullion, who's
Good.
very kindly waited for us because we're running a little bit late.
Have you been texting?
Yes, I
Oh,
have.
good. And he's all right? He's
He
not
said sure.
sure.
So I hope that means he's happy,
I hope so
not angry.
too. Oh, I'd hate if he was angry. We'll charm him. Right, what should we play?
Let's play Everything Is Going to Be All
oh,
Right.
no, that's funny
Lucy.
because I had that racked up. Look
Well,
at
that's
that.
good. Everything is going to be all right.
It
and
is.
soon we'll be talking to Jared.
Okay, see you in a minute.
Quiet whisper in the dead of night tells me everything will be alright. If I keep my head to the sky, everything is gonna be alright. Quiet whisper in the dead of night tells me everything will be alright. If I keep my head to the sky, everything is gonna be alright. But I can't help wondering if it's really true. 'Cause sometimes it's hard to get over the blues. Yet I've got this feeling that I'll make it through. Because life keeps going with or without you. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. 'Cause the darkness gonna steal my joy. Tell me I can never feel that void, but I won't let my hope be destroyed. Everything is gonna be alright. But I can't help wondering if it's really true. 'Cause sometimes it's hard to get over the blues. Yet I got this feeling that I'll make it through. Because life keeps going with or without you. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be
Like, one of them's the weight of 3 rabbits.
You're on air.
Oh,
Welcome back to ReCooper8. One of them is the weight of 3 rabbits. What was Katie talking about, viewers?
Answers on a postcard. We just...
Can we write that down? Because it was genius.
Yeah, I'll write it down, but I'll never ever tell you what it was. Whittaker's is sponsoring our show. They just don't know it yet.
They don't, but they'll be so pleased when they find out. Honestly, I've
With
got...
that professionally made sign that you saw in the break. And if you're not watching on Facebook Live, what are you doing?
Exactly. What are you doing with your life? Right, we're going to speak to author.
Lucy Cooper is going to call in to Jared, and I'm going to tell you a bit about him before we talk to him.
Go on, go for it.
He is the best-selling memoirist. You see. Memoirist. And now he's a science fiction author with his new book, which was launched in July as a Kindle first, or ebook, and then it's coming out in paperback. Is The Last Beekeeper. It's right up your street. I've pre-ordered it.
Okay.
So I'm quite excited too.
Is it dystopian, do we know?
It is, and you know that's my favourite, one of my favourite themes.
Edgy, end of the world stuff.
End of the world stuff just thrills me. So it's The Last Beekeeper, and it's a series of 3 books. So this one ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm sure we'll find out more about it.
Okay.
And you may know him locally because he lives in Martinborough, and he did his memoir Moon over Martinborough, which I think I've read. Have you read it, Lucy?
I haven't read it, I'm afraid.
It's very funny.
I do know that it was a blog first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was some years ago now. I mean, and we're getting older, but it was part of that movement of, suddenly people were doing blogs and then they were becoming books, because it wasn't a thing before, was it? I don't think,
I don't think so. It was published internationally in 2013, so that's
some time ago now.
Time ago. And it was called An Olive Grove at the Edge of the World, beg your pardon. So Jared's a self-described American city boy living in rural New Zealand, and he moved here with his partner CJ in 2006 to 20 acres of blissful rural delight, which he posts about all the time, and it looks lovely. He's got lots of animals, which I'm sure we'll find out about, because they've got cool names like Dougie and...
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I give him a call?
Yeah, let's give him a call.
Let's do it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's a technical idiot.
I don't know what that was. I never called you that, just on the record.
No, you were thinking it.
Okay, let's have it.
The way you looked at me, I could tell you were thinking
Oh, no, I didn't. Did I? Now, I'm going to call him on that number.
Going to call him a landline, just in case we have patchy. Patchy. I've been watching a lot of apocalyptic stuff at the moment.
You have?
Yeah.
Is that doing you any good?
Probably not, but...
Just looking after you, Katie. That's what I'm doing.
That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Jared, hello.
Gerard, be home. Hello, Gerard. No. Oh, hello, Gerard.
Hello, this is Jared.
Hello, is that Gerard?
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
It's Katie and
Good.
Lucy.
How are
Hello.
you?
Welcome onto the show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry we've kept you waiting.
Yes,
No
I'm very
worries.
sorry.
No worries. My pleasure.
We have been so taken away with the whole evening. And do you know, I spoke to you many years ago, and you won't remember, and that's totally fine. I'm letting that be okay. But
No, I do remember, because we were actually connected on LinkedIn and everything, and it jogged my memory.
Oh, there you
Lucy,
are.
What a diplomat.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. You can tell you're American because you did that so beautifully. Yes, that was a long time ago now, and so it's lovely to have you back on the show, and it's lovely to know that you haven't stopped writing, and in fact, you are now into science fiction. This is pretty damn cool. Tell us about that journey.
I'm having a lot of fun. I've always really enjoyed science fiction, and it was just a sort of random fluke of my life that I ended up writing memoir, and because I was writing my blog about living out here in the Wairarapa, which led to my book about olive farming. But my true love has always been science fiction. Oh. And so I said, I'm going to write a science fiction thriller, and I wanted it to be full of suspense and have a kind of crime novel element and a little bit of horror, and kind of make it a little scary.
Okay.
And so I set out to write a really suspenseful, fast-paced kind of science fiction thriller.
Oh, it sounds good. It sounds good. Now, where are you drawing your kind of... Have you always been a science fiction buff, is my first question.
I have always, ever since I was a kid. I've always read all sorts of science fiction and fantasy and what's kind of, generally called speculative fiction, things that aren't real,
Oh, I've never heard of that term.
No, nor have I. Speculative fiction.
Oh, okay. We're going to use that a lot now.
It's a good term. It's something that Margaret Atwood is the first person that I read in an interview. She referred to it as speculative fiction because she said she doesn't write squids in space.
Yes.
But if she did, they'd be excellent.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah. So it's. I think that's why it's more scary, because it's it could be based in truth, and perhaps what's happening in Texas now is sort of Margaret Atwood territory, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that taking something that feels real or could be real or is real on a smaller scale and then blowing it out is actually, I think, why her fiction is so powerful. And that's really what I was doing with my new science fiction thriller, The Last Beekeeper. I was taking the kind of danger that bees are in right now and sort of expanding that out into a global bee crisis where near future both honeybees and wild pollinators are endangered. There's a global bee crisis, and there's giant mega corporations called bee lords who are paid a lot of money for pollination because, of course, the global food supply is at risk.
Okay.
And in the midst of this, there is a reclusive beekeeper who practices traditional beekeeping. He goes to a remote island in Lake Michigan, and I grew up in Michigan, so it's near and dear to my heart. And he goes to retreat to this island to escape the madness of the world. And the book starts where someone starts burning his beehives. He's like, why would anyone in a global bee crisis start burning my beehives?
Yeah.
And in trying to figure out what was happening, he discovers that there's something much darker and more terrible than he ever imagined.
I think I'm going to really enjoy this.
I know. I've pre-ordered my copy.
That sounds great. I mean, I know that we know that you live rurally, and you're kind of fully immersed in that kind of natural world and the world of kind of food production.
Yeah.
So you were drawing, and clearly you're very knowledgeable about, some of the perils facing that kind of that side of our life. Is that where you were drawing a lot of your inspiration from for this novel? How did the germ of the idea start?
My partner was keeping bees for a while, and I've just always been really fascinated with bees. And also, living in Martinborough is the first time that I've lived in a very small town. And I was really interested in a kind of a small town where everybody knows everyone, or at least knows who they are. And I was also, years ago, I read The Scarecrow by Ronald Hugh Morrison, and it's a fantastic New Zealand novel that really plays with this kind of murder and small town charm. And it's such a Kiwi noir kind of thing, but I loved the kind of combination of terror and the small town in that novel. And so I really liked the kind of remote location, small town, close to nature. I'm a huge nature lover. And coincidentally, the protagonist of this novel is as well. And so I just really drew on all those threads. And it just came out this thing that it's been getting great reviews, so I feel like I kind of figured out how to do it, which makes me really, really pleased. The best quote I've had so far is, heart-pounding action that builds like a boiling kettle.
Oh, sounds great.
Yeah.
I like the solid tea reference there.
Yeah. and on Goodreads, you're getting wonderful reviews.
Oh, that's great.
And I don't get out of bed for anything over 4 Under a 4, I should say. 4 stars.
Right.
And you're way over 4 stars.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm looking forward to reading this. Can I ask you about your process? Has it been relatively straightforward? I mean, clearly, you're turning to a form of writing that you have a love for, but is it a straightforward process? Did you have moments where you kind of just kept ripping up the pages and starting again? What's that journey been like for you?
It's been a long journey because while I've been writing it, I've also been trying to learn how to write a sci-fi thriller, and the techniques that make something you make it a page turner, the way you kind of leave small open loops that leave the reader wanting to know what happens, but then you jump away to another scene.
Yeah.
All of those elements that make something really suspenseful. I mean, I've been reading books about how to do it, to be frank. I just recently, while I was writing it, I read a book called How to Write Scary Scenes, and how to kind of use the senses to really invoke a sense of unknown and fear, because there's something, the other element of the story is that there's something in the woods that's attacking people and nobody knows what it is.
Okay.
So it's been a long journey trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
So, but I love learning new things.
Yeah.
So, and it's one thing to enjoy a sci-fi thriller and read them, but it's another to really, it's a craft to figure out
It
how
really
to write.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, I
All
wouldn't
those
even know where to
threads you
start.
have to weave together at the end to give a sense of, rounding off people's
Yes, you want to
expectations
complete
and-
the journey.
Yep.
And how do you keep track of, those story threads? Do you have like a massive whiteboard? I mean, how do you kind of actually do it?
I actually use recipe cards, and I write things out. I write out scenes, and I write out all the scenes that I see in my head, not necessarily in the right order,
Right.
and then I put them in the right order. I've also been reading a lot about about kind of story structure and plot structure and how you build to a climax. And so and that's one thing when I was writing the blog that led to my olive farming memoir, which is now an international edition, is an olive grove at the edge of the world. When I was writing the blog that led to that, every week I wrote a short story about living here on the lifestyle block. And I learned a lot about how to open with a hook, how to lead to a climax, and how to get a resolution. And I did that every week for a year.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about storycraft. And so that's what I apply to these recipe cards that I write out, and I try and figure out the story arc for it and take things out that aren't contributing and add things in where there's missing bits, and then I put that into an outline, and then I go from there.
Wow. And who is your kind of support crew on this? How do you kind of know whether you're on the right track? Who's your biggest critic in that process? Does CJ figure in this kind of?
CJ does figure in this quite a bit. He really does. I'm always bouncing ideas off him. And in this book, I have had so many people help me. I joke in the acknowledgments of this book, my most recent book, The Last Beekeeper, that if it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a secret cabal to write a book. And I had about 10 beta readers, both in New Zealand and in the States. I also hired a developmental editor to help me with the story arc, a woman who works in London who has done a lot of sci-fi editing. And then I've had a copy editor as well. So I've had a lot of help, and it's at one point I was really overwhelmed, and the story felt like I couldn't pull it together. And I actually took a break because I just couldn't get my head around it. Yeah. And then I came back to it refreshed, and with all this really great beta feedback from beta readers and my editors, it's been a really kind of I've relied on a lot of people to do this.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a daft question, but, writing is such a personal, and it must be quite torturous at times. Sometimes when you're receiving feedback, can that be quite difficult personally if you're kind of say you're wedded to an idea or wedded to a character? Yeah, how do you kind of, dial back because I think I'd leap into defensive mode and go, I'm not doing that. These people don't know anything.
Yeah. Especially if you inspired the character.
Yeah, so how do you manage that personally, and have you learned a lot about, yourself in this writing process?
Absolutely, and it's not easy to manage, and there was one moment when I had from my developmental editor, she suggested some changes that I was like, absolutely not, and there's no way I'm doing that, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, that actually is a really good thing, and she just helped me bring out a theme that was there that I pulled it up stronger. But then there were other things that there are multiple points of view in this novel, and she at one point recommended I reduce it all to the protagonist, and I didn't because I had been interestingly, she did. She's amazing, fantastic. Does a lot of science fiction editing, but I was also trying to work a thriller angle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of thrillers, there's multiple points of view because you create suspense in a scene, and you jump away from it to another scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you come back to it, and I really wanted that element. So it was difficult to go through and figure out, like, okay, I need to take this feedback, but this feedback is not true to my vision, so I'm not taking it.
Got it. Yeah.
So it was not easy. It's hard.
No, it must be very hard.
But,
And
but I love it.
and do you have a kind of a support group of other writers that you kind of share ideas with, or kind of give each other, writer's block tips for?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've got a group of writer friends, both in New Zealand and in the States, that really helped me. And, years ago, before I started working on my olive farming memoir, I took the summer fiction workshop at Victoria University's Institute of Modern Letters, and out of that, we started a writing group that we called the Sittenfelds, which we named after the instructor, and who was Curtis Sittenfeld, who'd come over from the States to teach a summer course.
Right.
And so we created a great ongoing group of support for each other. And I've had other writing groups and writing friends that I've got some friends in Carterton here that we meet up every once in a while and share what we're working on and give each other feedback in a nice kind of informal way over lunch and that kind of thing. So it's really an important part of writing for me is connecting with other people and getting other points of view.
Yes, I've heard that. And again, it must be, when you're just starting out and you don't want to show anybody anything because you don't know if it's any good, but secretly think it's okay. And then, but you do have to kind of get over yourself, don't you? And just take that bold step and show other people what you're doing. Otherwise, it's just your own writing. It's,
Absolutely. Well, and you don't learn. And there's a great quote that I love that it might be Joseph Campbell, but it says, everything you want lies on the other side of fear.
Yes.
That's
And
wonderful.
it's great because you have to face that. It is scary to share, especially in any creative endeavor. You share those things.
Definitely.
It's scary, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
That's how you learn and grow.
Yeah, totally. So what next? I mean, your beekeeper, last beekeeper.
The last feature.
Is out, and tell us what will happen next in your life.
Well, this is the first in a series. It's called the Vespling series, and you have to read the book to know why it's called Vespling. But so there will be, I think, probably 3, maybe more. We'll see how it goes. But I'm working on the second book in the series now. The storyline continues. There's a key drama between the protagonist, the last beekeeper, and his teenage daughter. And there's a strong story arc that continues beyond the first book into the second one.
Okay. And can you see beyond that? I mean, have you kind of got the whole trilogy or whatever 4 books would be?
I do have a high-level story arc. Like I know what's going to happen at the end of the last book.
Yeah.
And I know key milestones along the way.
Okay.
And right now I'm just finishing up the outline for the second book. And I've been doing variations of it for a while. Like even when I was working on book 1, I had some outline ideas for the next book. So it kind of changes and morphs. It's a little bit like add a little here, take it away there, and then what I ended up with the last beekeeper is very different than my very first idea. It grew and morphed quite a bit. And another exciting thing I'm working on now is the audiobook for the last beekeeper.
Oh, are you reading it?
No, I'm not doing it. I do plan to do the audiobook of the Olive Grove at the Edge.
Yes, you have to.
Because it's a first-person account. But this, I've hired a professional narrator, and he's fantastic, and I'm listening to the final files now, and so that should be available within the next month or 2.
Oh, wow.
So you got to interview people to choose? Because it's such a personal thing, because I've had audiobooks that just the person they chose grated, and I couldn't listen.
Yeah, it really is. And well, I'm not at liberty yet to say who I've got.
Of course not, no.
What happened was when I sat down to think of who I wanted to do the audiobook, I thought, well, who do I really want? And there were some audiobooks that I've listened to from a narrator who's really, really talented. And I approached him on Twitter and said, hey, would you do my audiobook? And so anyway, I managed to get someone who's got quite a good reputation in terms of audiobook narrators.
Yeah.
And he's doing an amazing amazing job.
Oh my
How
God, that is
exciting.
that must be kind of so thrilling to hear your book being read by somebody that you truly want to listen to. Like it's almost like three-dimensional.
I have to say, it makes his, because he's a professional actor, and his reading of the book brings like a whole, you're right, three-dimensional. It's like a whole other dimension to the book. And listening through just doing the sample files and whatnot, he's got such a great way of delivering tension and suspense that when he ends a chapter, I'm like, oh, what happens next?
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I wrote it. So it's really, I can't wait for it to come out. It's really exciting.
Oh, that's great. We'll keep an eye on that. And because your website is lovely and full of really awesome information. So presumably if people went to that website, which you're going to tell us the name of, then people can find out when that audiobook is available.
Absolutely. My website is jaredgulian.com. So it's just Jared, Gulian, Gulian, so jaredgulian.com. And if you sign up for my author newsletter, you get a free Olive Grove short story, and you get the first 4 chapters of this new sci-fi thriller.
Oh, okay. I'm going to sign up. That's brilliant. Oh, this is awesome. I'm so excited for you, and you live here in the Wairarapa, and that's just perfect. Thank you.
It's so good to chat, so thank you so much for your interest in chatting about it.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Katie, and you know Katie, or Katie...
we used to work together a very long time ago.
Yes, back in professionally years and years ago.
Yeah, there you are. You've returned.
It's very nice to have a connection to both of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Jared. We wish you all the best.
Yes.
We'll watch with interest.
And we'll have you back on. When people are comfortable leaving their homes and coming into busy places, we'll get you on physically in the show.
Yeah, my copy will be here in 2 weeks.
Ooh, awesome.
Yes, well, the fingers crossed that we get past this current stuff as soon as we possibly can.
I hope so. You look after yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you too.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, it sounds so good. Isn't it the perfect blend?
Yeah.
It sounds right up our street.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I think I'm going to
borrow my copy.
Okay. Oh, well, I think, we've spoken to him now. I better buy my own. Yeah. We could get him to sign it. Well, look, we've got 5 minutes.
Oh.
Should we just have a little bit of a chit-chat? Or have we got a really short song? No, let's not play any music.
I don't know.
know.
My phone died, so I don't know what.
It's a sign.
I know. It's over.
It's not over, Katie. It's been great. I've really enjoyed being on the show.
That's good.
Did you see in lockdown I came up with this idea, ReCooper8, what did I call them? Bite size?
Yeah.
Did you see that? I think there's some merit in that idea.
What is it again?
It's just like, I really wanted to talk to somebody because I did what I'd done.
Look, see, Jared just talked to someone on Twitter that they admire.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
Shall we do
cojones
It does.
to cold approach.
Katie, do we need well, I've got a ReCooper8 Twitter handle.
Yeah.
So why don't we do that? Let's approach Kate Blanchett.
Oh, my God. You know who I really wanted to speak to, and I thought about ringing her, was Hilary Barry.
Oh, my God.
Because she's so cool, and she's the queen of lockdown, and her Friday baking.
Shall we call her?
But do you know I do have a personal connection with her?
Do you?
Yes, she grew up on the same street that I did as a child.
Yeah, where was that?
I think she's older than me, but only by a little bit.
Right.
Chatsworth Road, best local street, prettiest gardens, 1985, New Zealand champion.
No way. Seriously, your street?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
And they put a sign up.
Yeah.
About it and everything, and made the sign into a seat.
Oh my God.
And I used to sit on it because it was halfway between my house and the bottom of the hill.
Did you know Hilary then?
I knew of her because she was Pankhurst then.
Right.
And they lived in this real nice house.
Oh, right. So I think we could reach out to Hilary.
Do you think with that story I'd get past her bulldog
Well,
PR?
I want to send her a hula hoop.
Oh,
so that's my plan.
That's a good idea.
And I think she'd like us. I mean, she seems to like everybody, but
No,
I think she'd
she
find us
would.
special.
She doesn't like the people who broke lockdown.
No, she doesn't. And good on her.
And fair enough too.
Yeah. I think it's a good rule of thumb, like if you're going to do anything naughty, is how would this look on the front page of the news?
Yes.
Yeah. And that would have stopped those people, I think.
Do you think?
I hope
I don't know. They're the kind of people that won't be stopped.
Yeah, it's a shame, that people did that. But look, I hope everybody out there is okay. I hope you're doing okay. Love to my mum. Can I just say to my mum?
Yes.
And my
we're
sister.
thinking of you all.
We are thinking of you all, definitely. And I'll probably call you in a minute, Mum, when I get home. So, Katie, next month, I think we should get Celia Jaspers on because it would be just before her red carpet event.
Yes.
And, yeah. And
Our next door neighbour.
Oh, our next door neighbour. What's her name again?
Twitcher.
She's on Twitcher.
Yeah.
Which Twitch. I didn't even know what that was.
It's like the verb. If you're a twitcher.
But that was a bird, like somebody's into birding.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's for old people.
Oh,
no, I mean that word is for old people.
Okay. So it's been
if you were young and vibrant like me, you'd know that Twitch was a platform.
I've never heard of it.
That's
Could we be
okay.
on Twitch?
I am already on Twitch.
Could we be on Twitch?
We could.
The
I might let you
question
in.
still stands.
I might let you in. I'll think about it.
So she's a Twitcher.
Yes.
What does she do on Twitch?
She plays
Video games?
video games.
Yeah, so we're going to get her on. She
Live
was very
streaming.
lively and lovely to talk
she's
to.
English, see, mate.
Yeah. I spotted that. I'm sorry the cameras aren't working, but my hair is awesomely shiny, and so was Katie's, to be fair, when she was here. It's been
It was
lovely.
just too much pressure to have the camera on you the whole time.
It is a bit weird. Yeah, it's like the good old
especially in your
days.
downtime when you think
Yeah.
you're not being looked at.
Well, I was doing my solar panelled wobbly dog
Well, we're
manoeuvre.
trying to get Whittaker's as a sponsor.
Yeah, we've been pretty
We
desperate.
should send that.
Yeah.
They might send us something.
Yeah, they could do, couldn't they? Maybe they could sponsor our next show.
Yeah, maybe.
In terms of chocolate. There we are. We've done it. We've waffled to 9:57. It's been lovely, hasn't it, Katie?
Kia kaha, everybody.
Kia kaha. Stay safe. Stay well. Stay indoors if you're in Auckland. Shall I turn it off now? Do you know what I do next? Do I press stop?
Oh.
Looked at. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye. See you next month.
Bye.
ReCooper8.com.
Press stop, but not our button.
Okay. Bye.